Set a timer for 2 minutes. Hey guys, so I wanted to make a little bit of a different video today. Nothing like crazy serious, like I don't want this to come off as like, I want to make a different video. Drama, like no, I don't care. This is just not a story time and me like screwing something up as per usual. Today there's gonna be a little bit of story time. A little sprinkle of it, a little. Anyway, I was in math class, and in my math class, college algebra, we're not allowed to use graphing calculators, and I thought it was kind of dumb because I bought this like $100 calculator and I can't use it in college like all my high school teachers told me I could, and I'm just sort of like, everything's fine. Anyway, someone asked today, like, why can't we use, there we go. Sorry, I don't know why it's changing focus. Today, one of the kids in my class said, like, hey, why can't we use graphing calculators? And my math teacher said, well, do you use spell check when you use Microsoft Word? And everyone said yes. And he said, can you spell? And everyone was like, no. And he said, well, don't use spell check anymore. Like, you have to be able to write on paper. And like, well, that's true. Like, I'm not saying become illiterate when I like get to my point. Like, why? The way things are advancing, why are we saying you need to know how to do this the old-fashioned way rather than using this technology that's been created specifically to solve this problem? Does that make sense? Like, I don't use an abacus on my math homework because we're beyond that. I use a calculator. Usually, for the past 4 years, it's been a graphing calculator. But like, and we're changing focus again. Hello? There we go. But lost my train of thought. Yeah, I don't use an abacus on my homework anymore. Or at all. I don't even know how to use an abacus. So why are teachers in general so against using new technology? Like, my freshman year of high school, my English teacher made me handwrite an essay in cursive. Just for the fun of it, not for like any reason. Like, it didn't fit the aesthetic of the paper. It was like an about me paper, and it was handwritten in cursive just to show her we could still do that. Why? Like, if we have computers and we have these tools, why aren't we using them? It's like saying someone who seriously struggles to walk shouldn't use a wheelchair. They should learn how to walk the old-fashioned way. Like, I don't know. And they, like, teachers do this where, like, you have to know how to do it the old-fashioned way. But how many teachers out there are still using chalkboards? Y'all use your active boards and your smart boards. Even whiteboards are new. Like, I've been in school since they've like started installing whiteboards over chalkboards. Like, whiteboards aren't some old school technology. Like, you use all of this, you like rave over your smart boards and I get to use iPads in class. Now, some teachers aren't like this. Some teachers are like, we're not going to use iPads because, old-fashioned. But for the most part, teachers use their technology, even if they're just using their smartboard as a projector, they're still using it and utilizing it. They're not writing on a chalkboard. Like, so in the same sense, they don't want us using the tools we have. Like, that's just something that really made me think today. Like, why is it that we have to know how to do things these old, like, redundant ways? But it's just, like, I understand you need to know how to do basic math by hand, because, I mean, that's not true. I don't even know what to think anymore. Like, I'm thinking about this, and I'm just like, what? But because you're not always going to have a calculator on you, but, like, my phone has a calculator in it, and I have it on me all the time. Like, don't get me wrong, I still think we should learn basic math, but graphing functions by hand? Really? Like, I don't... Like, even if you're working in accounting or something like math related, like, I'm a graphic design major, so I'm very much like, I don't want to use math. Like, I'll use it if I'm trying to figure out, like, perfect spacing or, like, something like that. But that's just division. That's just, like, simple division. Like, you should be able to add, subtract, multiply, divide, PEMDAS by hand. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. You should be able to do all of that by hand. And, like, exponents to a certain degree. No pun intended. But graphing functions and, like, doing all of this crazy, like, stuff, like, why do you need to know how to do that by hand when you have something that can do it for you? Like, my teacher said today they landed on the moon using, like, by hand, and I'm like, yeah, but, like, that was so long ago. Like, why are you trapping us in that old, outdated time period? Like, why not say, hey, here's how to use your calculator, and here's how to use it effectively and efficiently, so when you're working, you're not wasting time figuring out how to use your calculator. Because, like, probably half of my senior year pre-cal class, and, like, even classes before that, we spent so much time on how to use your calculator and how to punch things in and how to work it. Like, why is it that now that I'm in college, we're reverting back? We're going back to, like, elementary school where we had those, like, transparent blue calculators and it had the game in it where it was, like, 6 times 2 and you had to put in the right answer. Like, why are we going back to that? Like, that's essentially, like, I don't have my calculator where I can just grab it, but that's essentially what I'm using. And I'm like, I just don't understand. I don't understand why we're being put in this old school time zone. Like, why are people acting like Neanderthals discovering fire? Like, they're like, oh my god, it's so bad, like, abolish cell phones. Like, no, why? And people will be like, back in my day, we had to handwrite letters, so you should know how to handwrite a letter. Like, yes, you should know how to write, because that's something you will actually need to do. Like, you can't physically type every single thing you need to type. But if I want to ask my friend if they want to hang out this weekend, I'm not going to send them a letter. And I don't understand why people are so, I'm not going to say afraid, but I'm going to say unwilling to accept change. And in recent years, it's just been happening so fast, this advancement of technology. Like, I want to say late elementary school, early middle school, they released the first iPhone, which was a brick that could make phone calls. Like, it was trash. And if anyone like remembers that, it was not a good phone. And now we have no more headphone jack. We have no more charging port. We're like wirelessly charging, which I still think is crazy. I'm like, how the heck does that work? But like, so much, we've just like, it's insane. And like, I'm not only a freshman in college, I'm not like 80 years old. Like, wow, technology's come so far. But like, oh, it's just, I had a flip phone at one point, like, and that was the cool thing to have, was a flip phone. I think mine actually slid, and it had a full keyboard at the bottom with like the little keyboard buttons, and that was like the technology of the time. So you didn't have to hit the 7 button 6 times to get the letter you were trying to get. That was like the thing. And now push button keyboards are a thing of the past. Like, we don't even have a home button on the iPhone anymore. Like, we're so moved on. And like, I don't know why people are so unwilling to accept this. Like, it's good. Like, we're not going in the wrong direction. We're not like uninventing the wheel. Like, why are people so like, ooh, stop, calculators are scary, iPads are bad? Like, why? I just don't understand it. And that's just like what I wanted to say today. Is just like, why are people so afraid of just embracing technology? Like, it's not, I don't know. That just got me thinking today in math class. Like, I'm stepping off my soapbox. I'm gonna have my soup and my tea. That's all for me today. See ya.